Hi guys, thanks for spending your Friday morning with me for the next hour or so. I'm sure it'll be a riveting experience for all of you. And as people join, then we can go through start the presentation. I'm waiting for a few more people just to hook up. But to start with, just a bit of housekeeping. You can see there's a Q&A button on the Zoom presentation. So what I'm hoping to do is just deal with any questions at the end of the presentation, but it'd be great if you can just fire any questions you have as you think of them, and I'll deal with it at the end. We will finish at 12 o'clock, and also this is being recorded, so if you do need to leave early or you miss the most important bit at the end, then you're more than welcome to let us know, and we'll send you the recording hopefully early next week. So what we'll do is crack on. Hopefully people will join us. The beginning bit is all to do with about us. A few clients that have logged in will obviously know a lot about this already, but just a bit of recap. Raffingers, we're an award-winning accountancy firm, and we specialise in strategic business planning and commercial solutions. And our purpose is to truly impact the lives of our people and our clients. And this is really important because it's taken us a few months to get to our purpose and our vision, and I'll explain later why that was so important for our strategy and why that is just crucial to growing your business. Also, we help clients find their personal freedom, and this freedom could be one of three freedoms. The financial freedom, so you've got the finances to do what you want to do, and you're being rewarded for the work that you do. Your time freedom, so it could be that you want to spend more time with the family and the friends and holidays, and also your mind freedom. So a lot of people want peace of mind. They want to sleep at night and make sure that everything is as it should be. So we help do that, and we help people find their freedoms by providing a holistic approach to maximize results at all stages of your business cycle. So we help businesses from startups through to businesses growing and mature businesses looking to exit. As you can see, we specialize in recruitment, property, construction, and technology. We think big, so we offer a holistic approach to our clients, offering financial advice solutions. And these are the core services that we provide. Strategy, which is basically what we're talking about for the next hour. We provide bespoke packages to clients, what their needs are at the moment, whether it's exit planning, whether it's to grow their business. We help everything from the strategy, which you shall hear very shortly. Wealth management, looking at pensions, retaining your wealth, looking at life cover, and looking at maybe inheritance tax planning and stuff like that. So we provide wealth management services, corporate finance as well, mergers and acquisitions we can obviously advise on, as well as finance funding for your business to either help grow your business, help with debt management, any type of finance. We've got some amazing lenders that we can go to now in the market, and they're really challenging the big banks. So anybody looking for finance, we can help with that. Tax planning, obviously, we do a lot of tax planning. We've got tax planning opportunities that we currently have in our locker at the moment, which if you need any advice on tax planning, then obviously contact me. But what we do pre-year end, a couple of months before the company's year end, we do a thorough review of personal and business taxes and making sure you're efficient as possible. Forecasting and management accounts is a given that we can do forecasting now with the advent of cloud-based bookkeeping system. It's now so much easier and quicker to prepare forecasts. And again, I'll talk about that later in the presentation. Systems integration, organization management, which is now becoming really important with the way the technology is evolving so quickly that we can now advise on making sure your systems are as efficient as possible, and looking at your management structure, looking at your existing organization chart, see where there's gaps and holes, and maybe give some advice to improve that, looking at maybe an accountability chart, which again, I'll touch on a bit later. And obviously we do the routine stuff, the compliance stuff, accounts, tax, VAT, and payroll. About myself, 30 odd years in industry, founder member of Raffingers, been here, believe it or not, 33 years this January. I know I don't look old enough, and obviously the grey beard leading up to Christmas I thought would be a good look, just to obviously make myself look 20 years older. Profit first, certified professional. the previous slide had that caption. We're maybe one of a number in the UK that we're Profit First certified. I will explain, there's a really good slide and a little bit of intro that I'll do later about Profit First. So I'll explain that later. And obviously supporting businesses to achieve their goals, which is basically what we're doing today. So that's about me. So bit of introduction going forward. So why are we talking about strategy today? So the objective for the next 45, 50 minutes is to give you some ideas and tools to help you reach your goals and hopefully understand how you grow your business, enable you to take immediate action and to measure that success. So what I'm going to go through in the next hour, we would normally do over a 90-day strategy advisory program. So just bear with us that obviously a lot of this is just going to be headline topics, headline information that maybe just to get you start thinking about it. To go into the detail will just take far too long in this presentation. So that's where we are today. So this is a great slide. Insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And we all know this is right. So it's just then, what can we do about it? And I've had sessions with clients in the past looking at this, and we've come out of the session. So we've gone through and we've talked about personal business goals, and we've talked about what they should be doing to grow their business. And basically people fall into 4 camps. So the guys come out of the business and they do absolutely nothing. They say, yeah, great, we had an amazing session, really liked what you said, but they've gone back to the business and absolutely nothing's changed. They're basically in their comfort zone. They're not challenging themselves, and they just think it's just too hard to make all those changes, which is fine. And that's down to the business owner. And all we can do is just help them, sort of advise them and guide them on what should happen. So that's one choice that business owners normally do. And thankfully, we don't have many who do that. And obviously the guys listening, it doesn't happen too often. Some of them retreat, some of them go back to their business, and what they do, they try a couple of things. They go back, realize that they've got no help within their business to help them, and they have a couple of bad days, things don't go as planned, and they give up, and they basically go back to their comfort zone and carry on as they were. The third one is that they take normal amounts of action. So they do the easy things first. What they do, they do some quick wins, get some instant results, and they think, yeah, this is great, this is working, cash flows improves a little bit, but they haven't fundamentally changed their business. And after a few months, the quick wins run out. They put off the really hard, challenging issues, and basically they're back to square one. And then the fourth action, which hopefully you guys will take something from today, and quite a few clients actually do this. They actually take massive amounts of action. They know things need to change, and they go away and they make sure that business is there to serve them, rather than the other way around. I know so many business owners that the business, that they're serving the business, and it should be the other way around. Your business should be serving you to give you what you want. So strategy. So why put this strategy together? And what we find is when we do these sessions, that most business owners are the ones who aren't, the successful ones are the ones who aren't busy. They're the ones who work really smart. So if you look at the Alan Sugars and the Richard Bransons of the world, and those successful guys, they're just not doing the day-to-day stuff themselves. They've got people around them, really strong leadership team, and people they can delegate to. They're working really smart, and they've got a clear vision. They know exactly what their business should look like, and they know what their end game is. It's really clear from the beginning exactly what they're doing, and also they're focusing on the business and not in the business. If you haven't already read the Michael Gerber book, The E-Myth, it's an amazing book to read that will help you get it, and you will soon realize that working on it is so more important to grow that business and working in it. So without a doubt, if you do one thing from today's seminars, presentation, go on Amazon and buy that book. So what does your business look like when it's complete? So part of the strategy is there's various options what your business will look like at the end. So some people just basically don't want the business totally dependent on the business owner. They want to take the time away from the business. They want to spend some quality time with their family. They want to do things that they thought the business would be able to give them the time to do, but they end up being stuck in the business. So if that's your strategy, if that's what you want your business to look like at the end, then we do everything that we can help you to make sure you are achieving that. For example, that it could be that you're just working in the business so much and you've never had a holiday for years and years. So what we've done with a few clients and said, right, you go ahead and book a holiday next year for 2 weeks. And that they're sort of, I can't, the business will just completely fold down if I take 2 weeks out of it. But if you've got something to aim for and a goal, you will do things within your business to make sure that you can go away on holiday for 2 weeks. And in some cases with them, the following year, you go away for 3 weeks without taking your phone and your laptop. And when I discussed that with some businesses, they sort of, their face, the jaw drops and think, there's no way in a million years I can do that. But if you've got that as your goal, and if that's the strategy that you want to give yourself more time, then you make sure that you put things in place to achieve that. I've got some clients and money and income is their driving factor. So they want to be a millionaire within a couple of years. So we then help them make sure that they take as much profit from the business, they build up their personal wealth, and that's what motivates them. So again, that's your strategy, and we do things to help make sure you achieve that goal. Some clients want to build capital value. They enjoy buying and selling businesses. They get a buzz out of building a business up, selling it and doing it again. So is it capital value that you want to build within your business? And obviously your strategy would be completely different if you were taking up obviously cash out of the business and sort of trying to build your wealth. So they're the type of strategies and that we can sort of aim for. So why should we bother with a strategy? This is quite important because I'm going to sort of share sort of what we've done at Raffingers over the last few years, because this will show you why strategy is so important. So as you know, in accountancy practice, we're quite fortunate that we've got recurring income every year. Everyone needs their accounts done annually, their tax returns done annually. So we've got pretty much an audience, a captive audience already every year. So a few years ago, I've been to a couple of seminars, forums, and I was getting a feel that a lot of accountancy practices were sort of looking at their vision and strategy, and it became quite important for the practice that we were practices that we were talking to. So I went back to the other partners and said, look, we should really think about what our vision is, our purpose, what our personal business goals were. And the other partners went, why would you want to do that? It's crazy. Why spend the time and effort when we're doing fine? Nothing's wrong. Let's just keep going as we are. And then lo and behold, 3 or 4 years ago, cloud technologies started with Xero changing the way that the whole bookkeeping system, the whole accounts and everything changed. We had competitors come into the market. KPMG decided to hit the market and spend, I think, 3 or 4 million quid just getting their small business department set up. We were getting guys, internet only accountancy practices coming into the market, and their systems were so strong and their vision, they knew exactly what they wanted to do and were taking sort of quite a big chunk of the market. So it was at that time we thought, look, guys, we need to sit and really sort of work out what our strategy is, where we want to be in the market, what we want to do, what our core purpose was, and put together a really strong strategy going forward. And these are the sort of things that we looked at. We made sure that we could measure the success. We made sure that all the business owners, all the partners were on board and were totally with it. And also the most important thing was sharing it with the team, so they knew exactly what our vision was and where we were going to go. And it basically helps you achieve your long-term goals. So that's why strategy is so important. And doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, it's not going to happen. And the way the market is, you've got to do that. So where would you start? So there's quite a long list here, and I'm actually going to go through each of these on the next few slides without going into too much detail, but just making you think about what you should be doing in your business, and we can help you obviously where you needed some advice going forward. So the first one, discover your purpose and your vision. What I'm going to do in the next 2 minutes, we would normally spend a whole day with a client just trying to get out of them what they've got in their head on paper. So look at their purpose and vision. So why does your business exist? What are you here to do for your customers? Why are you different? So your unique selling points, all of that type of stuff, and the fluffy stuff trying to get down on paper, because it is important. And here's some quotes from some big companies that have already done that. And it's quite interesting, when we did this ourselves a while ago, we came up with our purpose, and our purpose is to truly impact the lives of our people and our clients. So we realized when we went through it that being a service industry, it's so important that our team are happy doing what they're doing, they get motivated, and because that will rub off when they're speaking to clients. And as well as that, then we really need to truly impact the lives of our clients. So we make sure that their wealth's protected, the tax planning is all done properly, and they're getting the business advice to help them grow going forward. And then you look at the vision. Where's the business going? What will it look like in 5 years' time? And we need to make sure that we can measure this. And it's obviously big picture stuff. And it's obviously thinking what it will look like and what your desired endpoint is, as well as looking at your purpose. So really important, purpose and vision, to get that sort of clear in your head, and just basically whatever's in your head down on paper. So next point, again, personal business goals. Again, this is a huge session in its own. This is hard. It's a bit of soul searching. It's a bit of thinking about what you want your business and your personal goals are. What we try to do is make sure that you do your personal goals first and get obviously your business to achieve those personal goals. So the two should be aligned. There's no point having your personal goals and your business goals completely separate, where one's doing where they're not working together. So what we do is get clients to really sit down and talk to their friends, their family, their mentors, their accountant, whoever would listen, and try and get a feel for what they want out of their business, and try and break it down into years and look at a much longer time plan, maybe over 5 years. And also what we've found that a lot of people have this in their head. They know sort of what they want to do and where they want to get to. But we've found that if you write it down and you're accountable to somebody, you will actually achieve it. And it's the same with business plans. That there was research done a while ago that if you write your business plan down, you're more likely to achieve it than if it's in your head. So it's just sitting there and thinking about what you want to do from your business to achieve your personal goals. So there's some examples. How much income will the business deliver in the next 12 months? What is it worth? How much profit are you going to make? Your personal time. How many hours a week you want to work? Do you want to take Fridays off? And these are your goals that we then try to achieve, and part of your strategy to aim for. So this is important, because without doing this, then it's really hard to know where you want the business to be. Otherwise, you're sort of you're going blind into your business, and you're not really growing, knowing where you want to go. So personal business goals are so important to get sorted. So your budgets. So this is really important, and this is something that people just seem to leave, because a lot of business owners aren't really financial minded. They're either sales guys or technicians, good at what they've done, and ended up opening a business to do it. So the finances, they sort of get a bit scared of and out of their comfort zone. But this is so crucial to know what you want to do going forward. So we try to get people to at least look at a year's forecast, and hopefully look at a 5-year forecast. And this sort of spreadsheet is really good to just have those key top figures in the business, looking at your gross profit margin, look at your overheads, what your profit's going to be, what you're earning, whether the sales is enough to achieve your target. Really good way to start thinking about the finances in your business. Because what you then do is, after this, then you go to the Power of One. So the Power of One is a bit of software that we use, which I'm going to flick onto the software, hopefully, if it works. Flick onto the software, which shows you the effect of changing slight percentages and days within your 7 key drivers. So if you bear with me, I should be able to flick onto the Power of One. So hopefully everyone can see that page. So the idea is that if you can't see it, just let me know, but you should be okay. The idea for the power of one is what we've got here is a bit of software that takes the financial accounts for the last 3 or 4 years, and basically it shows you the effect of changing 1% or 1 day on your 7 key drivers in your business. So you can see the 7 key drivers down there. So what would be the effect if I increase my prices by 1%? So I'm charging £100 now, and if I charge £101, what the effect would be on my profit and my cash flow. So I'm convinced that no one would stop buying from you paying that extra pound. Same with your volume increase. Can I increase my volume by 1%? What the effect is. My cost of goods sold, with basically what I'm buying, can I reduce the prices that I'm buying? Can I buy in bulk discount? Can I buy cheap alternatives from the market? Overhead reduction, can I reduce my overheads by 1%? And so on. Looking at your debtor days, which is your receivables, can you bring in your amount of money 1 day quicker than you normally do? And it's amazing the effect on your cash flow and your profit by just making 1% change across all those 7 factors. So you've got cash flow up by 55 grand and your profit up by 48 grand. It's quite earth shattering when you see it. And then even just then upping it by 2%, what the effect is, it's amazing the effect. And you can mess about with these figures and say, yeah, I can do price increase 2%, but it's hard to increase my volumes and stuff like that. And then we get a feel for how you then can change those variables in the business. So this is, again, a session on its own. And also we'll go into a lot more detail how we can actually change a lot of these factors without having a detrimental impact on your business. So that's the power of one. Hopefully it won't go back to the start. That's the result. So that's that. So you're looking at what if scenarios within the business. So then the next thing you would look at is your KPIs, your key performance indicators. This is so important to do, because what we find is that people don't necessarily think this is important, and they sort of wash over this. But what you've got to do is make sure that you're looking at your financial key performance indicator, which most people do, your margins and your annual customer spend and your profit and all that type of stuff. But it's the non-financial KPIs that people seem to forget. They've got to look at the customer satisfaction ratings. They've got to look at the reviews on Amazon. If you're an Amazon seller, are you getting 5 stars? Are you looking at how many Facebook likes you're getting that month? If you're a retailer, you're B2C sort of business. Really important to think and measure the right businesses, the right figures, because what we find is that if you can't measure it, you can't improve it. Again, a management thinker and author, Peter Drucker, has written a whole book about this, that you need to measure it to enable you to improve it. And this is what KPIs are all about. And there you can see some key drive KPIs within the sales cycle. So is there anything in your business that you should be looking at and you should be measuring within your business, which is really important. So fundamental challenges. Now, this is quite important, because what we find is that, yeah, we've done some sessions, we've talked about the purpose, the vision, the goals and the forecasting and everything, and you go, and the business owner goes away, and this is all well and good, this is great, but as soon as I get back to the office, I get bombarded with the problems, with challenges, with issues, day-to-day stuff. I just can't find the time to do this. So what we try and do is get people, business owners and the leadership team in that business, to actually sit around the table and list all the challenges that business has at that time. And we recently did this with a business, which was a bit of an eye-opener, because when we sat down with the business owner, and I think it was the two leadership team within the business, they had about 45 main challenges, big challenges that they felt that they needed to address. And I went, right, okay, look, you can't hit all 45 in one go. What you must do is then break it down. So you need to break down and what are the 4 or 5 absolutely key challenges and issues in that business, that as a business, if you could crack that would then move you to the next level. So we sat through, and on the next slide is the sort of thing that we've done. So an example here, we went this is the sort of example where you've got 4 or 5, maybe 7 tops key company rock. We call them rocks. So rocks are your issues that if we could crack these, business goes to the next level. So out the 45 odd issues, we broke it down to 4 or 5. This is an example of some of the rocks that could be relevant in your business, and these are the sort of things that we've taken from our practice. And then once you've cracked them, and what we try to do is that do it in a 90-day cycle. So you will get a feel for through this presentation that everything we do is in a 90-day cycle, because you find that you can concentrate, motivated, and measure and change things much easier through 90 days rather than 6 months or a year. So we make sure that we know in 3 months' time we're going to crack these 4 rocks. Then we know we're on to the next major issues for the company. Know that by doing this, this will grow the business, this will improve the business, this will make a huge change the way the business works. And then from there, you then allocate, you then look at the rest of the list and you allocate the key rocks to the leadership team and say, right, if these are your 4 or 5 rocks that you've got to then deal with in the next 90 days, and making sure that they're dealt with, and any of the irrelevant rocks or some there are issues but just not important are then just put on an issues list to then attack the next 90 days. So over a year, 4 quarters, you've attacked all your main issues and hopefully taking your business to the next level. So that's to do with rocks and challenges within your business. Oh, I need to go back. Oh, I have to go there. There you go. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was profit first. So again, this is a 90-day goal that I've set up for a client. So profit first, we discovered a couple of years ago, a client of mine recommended me to read the book. I read the book and I thought, wow, this is amazing to help businesses manage their cash flow and look at the profitability within their business and hopefully help them grow. So the idea is that Mike Michalowicz would like to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty within the business world, and he uses principles to get business owners thinking about how they can financially reward themselves from the business, and they put systems in place to make sure that they achieve those targets. So what I'm going to do is very quickly show you an example of a report that we have prepared for a client of ours that went through this or was in the process of going through this program, and then I'll show you this, explain to you the principles behind it, and it could be that you might bring these into your business, and we can obviously help advise you. And the key fundamental principle is that they look at sales, but they take the profit first, and then what's left is then to cover your expenses, rather than the traditional way is sales less expenses equals profit. So they've turned that formula on its head. So again, bear with me whilst I go into the. That should work. Wow, look at that. So we've got a company that we act for, L&A Engineering Limited, and if you read the overview, it's sort of that gives you a basis of what we're doing regarding profit first. But basically, we look at the previous year's accounts, look at the way the business is trading, and what we do, we look at real revenue as our base. So basically we ignore top revenue, because sales, you could be turning over 20 million and making 1% margin. It's irrelevant. It's the gross profit after your costs that we then work to. So we look at real revenue, which in this case is 48%, as opposed to the top line revenue. And what we do is then look at this business and look at his historical averages, and you can see that we're using real revenue at 100% as our base cost, as our base figure. And then we look at the profit. Now he's earning 11% of that as his profit. His owners pays 34, 3% is tax, and his operating expenses are 52%. Now when I went through these figures with the client, it became very clear that his main driver and his main goal going through this system is that he wants to put enough money away for tax. He's been caught out in the past and has had sleepless nights, so very much about his mind freedom, that he wants to now be able to sleep knowing he's got enough money to cover the tax. So then what we did is go through these percentages and reallocate them. So you can see the profit first percentage, that we looked at his profit. He said that I reduced my profit. I'd rather have less profit knowing I've got more in my tax account, and also look at his operating expenses and reduce that and put more in his tax account. And what we've decided to do, again, on a 90-day program, month 1 to 3, we're making small adjustments to the way he's allocating his money to get him to that target of making sure he's got enough tax at the end of the year to pay HMRC. So the only way this works, and this is where we help him make him accountable, and we chat every 2 weeks, that we make sure he's opened up bank accounts for all of these allocations. So he's got a bank account for his tax, he's got a bank account for his operating expenses, the same for his owner's pay and the profit. So he now every 2 weeks makes these allocation percentages to those bank accounts, because it's then a lot easier for him to manage his bank. It also makes it harder for him to actually go into his bank account and make decisions based on what's in the bank account, rather than knowing that in the future there's a tax bill to come. So really important to get the allocations right, and also to make you accountable and make sure that you're making those bank transfers. So that's really good. And the report goes into graphs and the reasons why, which is quite interesting for him. So back to the slideshow. Oh, that worked. Excellent. So the results from working with this client, and it's amazing. For 1 month, we've been working with him, and within the first conversation, I asked him just basically outright, when was the last time you increased your prices? He said, I haven't done them for absolutely years. And overnight, he increased them by 10%. So he put on, because if I go back, his turnover was about 220 grand a year. So he put 22 grand on the bottom line straight away by increasing his prices. And he's had no complaints. He also looked at his overheads, and basically he went through, set a spreadsheet up and marked each overhead either as a P, which that expense generates profit from that expense, so you can't really change that or amend it, or he marked it with an R where he could replace it with a less expensive alternative, or a U where it was just an unnecessary expense that didn't realize that he was paying, or maybe he just could do without it. Went through that, and then next time we had a phone call, he said, I was amazed that I saved 15 grand a year just by doing that exercise. Also, which was really interesting, that as we were chatting, that if he buys goods at an auction, he can buy them at a much cheaper rate than he would through a retailer, and he gets much higher returns when he comes to sell them. So what we then decided to do is open up an auction bank account, where we agreed how much he should put away every 2 weeks into that account. So he knows come Christmas, before the Christmas rush, is going to have 4 or 5 grand in that bank account to go to the auction and buy those goods, which he's never had before. So it's all just having that, making him accountable, making him accountable to do that, and having a routine and systems in place that he knew that what he had to do. And also that was just opening bank accounts made him do the allocations properly. And he did say at the beginning, look, I don't really want to open up 4 or 5 bank accounts and do this. And I said, well, if you don't do the bank accounts, it's not going to work, because all you're going to do is go into your normal bank account and start raiding it and paying things that you shouldn't do. And he's now realized that opening those bank accounts and a little bit of pain at the beginning was well worth it. And he feels now on top of his business and control of the business, as opposed to the other way around. So that's a little bit about profit first. So another important part of this as well, and again, what hopefully you will find is that each of these topics are really important. I think if you just did 1 or 2 of these, I don't think you'll be successful, because they're all sort of mutually exclusive. You need to do all of these at the same time, because part of this is talking about systems. You could put all of this in place and you can have all these great ideas and things, but if you haven't got systems and you haven't got your team knowing how to do this, it's all going to collapse, because no one knows what they're meant to be doing. Everyone will do it their own little way, and the message that you were trying to get across to your team and your customers doesn't work. So systems are really, really important. Michael Gerber talks about systems in his book massively, and it's a good book to get a feel for how important systems are. And we've done the same within our practice. Again, had a bit of not feedback, but the feedback from people within the team said, look, what a pain in the ass. Why do I have to then write down this system? It just takes longer to do this. I can't be asked. And within a couple of months, people then realize how important it is and how beneficial it is to have systems in place. And we use a bit of software called Sweet Process. Sweet Process is a cloud-based system, relatively cheap. I think it's up to 10 users. It's saying like $40 a month. But basically, it enables you to systemize every process within your business. And we've got one here for a client where they needed a system to follow in their purchase ledger system, how you get your purchase and expense invoices onto Xero, and using a bit of software called Receipt Bank. So we've just gone through, written down the system, making sure that everybody follows the system and they can tick it as they go along. The software is really good. You can upload videos, you can do screenshots, you can do hyperlinks, really powerful. On the cloud, anyone can access it, not difficult. Whereas if you think about it, 10 years ago, you buy a bit of kit system like this, it will cost you an absolute fortune to have something this powerful that you could use. Now, relatively cheap, well, I think it's really cheap and really powerful bit of kit. So systems, if you haven't thought about systems, then I would recommend looking at Sweet Process. And these are the sort of reasons why, and some questions around systems. Also, another point about systems. Now, you might go away and think, oh my God, how am I going to implement 100% of my systems? It's going to take me years to get every system written down. So what you need to do, again, with your team, you need to brainstorm and come up with 20% of those really key systems that you know are vital to run your business, and just concentrate on those 20% to start with, because you will find those 20% of those systems account for maybe 80% of your operations within the business. So look at that. Don't try and do all of them. Look at the key ones to start with, and then as you go on, then you will be able to add systems as you move on. So how do we pull this together? So every business should have a business plan. Now, we talk a business plan slightly different than we used to. So this is not a business plan in the traditional sense of having a 30-page document, loads of graphs, loads of competitive analysis, loads of waffle that then gets put at the bottom drawer of your desk and never see it again. Those business plans are normally for finance, normally for the banks, normally for if you're looking to sell, that type of stuff. But this business plan, we try and put on one page, and it covers basically everything I've discussed previously. And putting it down in writing makes such a massive difference. So as you can see, we've got a blank one here. You note down your purpose and your vision, which we discussed, what the values are and what you want to achieve. You're picking out your key budget figures from the budgets and the forecasts that we've done. You look at your KPIs, which we put down there, and obviously your goals, your 90-day goals. Can you see how that's broken down? 90-day goals and actions to achieve those goals. Really, really powerful, and it's documented. So basically, as you can see, there's a lot of content there. You can see that I've sort of not gone into huge amounts of detail, because what we find is that each detail, if you go into each detail, is just a session, half a day in its own, just to look at each part of the tasks that we've talked about. So what would be your next steps? So to recap, what would you do? Do nothing, as we've talked about. Come away from this session and go, yeah, that's great, but I'm really happy just sitting in my comfort zone over there on the right, not really motivated, don't really want to challenge myself, which is fine. And some people like that. Maybe towards the end of their career, they don't really want to push themselves too much and comfortable doing that. And few people like that. But do you want to be where the magic happens? Do you want to be where you make a big difference to your business? Do you want to take massive action now rather than just retreating or just doing sort of the normal amounts that you've been doing previously? And this is where we can help. So we can help you become accountable, and we can help you whatever you want to do to help you help your business give you what you want out of your personal goals. So if you don't take anything away from today, apart from maybe the Michael Gerber book, what you should be doing is looking at the 4 things that you need to make sure you get to where you want to be. So you need to think about setting your annual plan. look at your annual budget and at least start setting 4 or 5 most important KPIs in your business. And number 4, someone independent hold you accountable. And this is obviously where we can come in. We can help you and set a program, and all our programs are bespoke. What we've discovered is no 2 businesses are the same. Every business has different goals, different objectives, different challenges, and we can accommodate anybody. And based on budgets as well, how much they can afford to spend is how much then we can give and help them. And obviously, don't be a slave to your business. You need to obviously help break those shackles and get best practice happening in your business, because obviously if your business is expanding and growing, then you will feel better as well. So I thought this would be quite interesting, actually show you a business plan, a completed one. So as you can see, you've got a purpose and a vision of this business, what they want to achieve, and their goals and their KPIs. So this is what a sort of a completed business plan would look like. And we can help you get to that goal as well. So as part of our offering, we do a complimentary hour meeting where we go through your personal and business goals. We'll try to identify any problems and challenges that you have in your business and try and put together a plan how we can actually achieve your goals and put a plan a strategy plan in place, and then think about how we can help you further with that. You've got a half-day business planning session, so we can actually do a half-day session if that's needed, and that really is, we really sit down and go through what your business should look like in a year's time, really articulating what your strategy would look like and where your main issues are within your business, and put a plan together and look at your action plans as well, so that we can do the half-day business plan. Quarterly coaching, which is really important at help making you accountable for anything that we've decided that you think is important to you. And also when you're made accountable, it makes a massive difference. And what I think businesses should be doing is learning from the sports world, because if you think about every sports team person has a coach. Why do they have a coach? Because they need to be held accountable. They want to be pushed to their limits. The same with business. You want to be accountable, pushed to your limits. And I think businesses should learn from the sports world going forward, especially with the coaching side of it. Help with cash flow management. Cash flow management is now so much easier to do than it was a few years ago, with the event of cloud software, Xero, and those type of packages. It's now much easier and quicker and cheaper to actually prepare forecasts and profit and loss forecasts, cash flow forecasts, and really keep an eye on your finances in real time. There's the way the technology is moving now, it is so powerful what you can get from your financial business, and we can help with that. KPI coaching, really sit down, work out what your KPIs are, help you put systems in place to get that information, because some of the KPIs sometimes it's hard to actually generate that information, so we would help and make sure that that's working at the same time. So also what we're doing, we're just waiting to confirmation of a date towards the end of November, but what we're proposing to do is go into a lot more detail of what I've done in this presentation. So 7 ways to grow your business. So basically it will go through in a bit more detail what I've done in this presentation and give you some real sort of examples and tools and ideas and quick wins that you could go away from that seminar and implement in your business. So watch out for that date. So what we hope to do with that seminar, look closely at your business, set a roadmap, measure your business efficiency, and then look out for any for the dates on that. So that was all. Did that pretty well, 45 minutes, bang on target. What I'll do now is that I'll go see if there's any Q&As. I have one Q&A, that's amazing. So I've got one question that I'll then deal with. Great question. What do you charge to implement this process? A ballpark will do. Now, so what we do is we have that hours free session, and we call it a complimentary client review. So in that session, we don't charge you for that, but from that session, we will know what drives you, what strategies you need and what help you need. So, for example, I went through one of these with a client, and we found very quickly that he wants to have an exit plan. There's about 35 staff in the business. We sat down, went through it, and realized very quickly that he basically wears too many hats in his business. He does everything from the day-to-day management to the finances to the sales and marketing. For a multi-million-pound business, that was crazy. And I said, look, there's no way you're going to exit this and earn any money or leave any legacy behind you, because you're doing everything. So at that session, we said, right, you need to then have a look at your leadership team. We need to look at your organization chart, rehash it, and put together what we call an accountability chart. And that we can do every 2 weeks and really push that, or we can do it monthly. We can do it every quarter. And I sort of made it quite clear to him, if you're doing it quarterly, it's a waste of time because nothing will get done. Monthly is about as long as you want things to take, because what we find is that, and we found this in our practice, that if you're given any tasks or any issues to deal with, and you know you've got a meeting in a month's time, 3.5 weeks after the first meeting, you'll think, oh crikey, I've got that meeting the next day. Then you start running around and trying to clear those issues. So what you've done nothing for 3.5 weeks. So what we found is that if you do it every 2 weeks, you're doubling, obviously, the quickness of getting things done. And that's just based on budget. So that's based on how much the business can afford, how much you value the business, and what you think you're going to get out from those sessions. So it's really hard to give you a ballpark figure. It will depend on how accountable you want us to be. We could be nagging you every couple of days to say, have you done this? Have you done this? So the best way to deal with that is that maybe contact me, and then I can give you a ballpark figure, and it will depend on what you're looking for and what you're trying to achieve from that. When can we meet up, Tanvir? Whenever you're ready. I'll give you some dates over the next couple of weeks, and we can then maybe catch up. So somebody anonymous, how do you deal with very small business owners who end up doing everything? I'm talking 3 to 4 people in the business, including the owner. Now, that's a great thing. So what we find with the small businesses, that if you put these tools and strategies in place early on, then you can scale it really quickly if that's what you want to do. And we look at the ways that the things that you do that you shouldn't be doing, looking at things that you enjoy doing that maybe you want to do. So do you know what I mean? So if you're doing something that you're doing because you have to do it, then maybe look, do we bring somebody else in so I can then free myself up to do the sales and marketing, which is what I really enjoy. So with small businesses, the profit first system works really well for the small businesses, and we look at how we can then make sure the company is financially stable, the cash flow management's working, and get the structure and the foundations right first, and then maybe look at the other bits with the goals and objectives, and basically having a real structure over the next sort of year or so what we should be doing in those 90-day sessions. But a lot of this strategy works for small businesses as well as large businesses, and if anything, I would try and implement a lot of this from day one into those businesses, because it just makes it so clear where you want to go. I don't think that the only issue with the small businesses, you wouldn't look at your organization chart because basically you're doing everything. But it'll be good to put, as I said, those systems in place now, so you're all ready for when you do want to grow and you want to go to the next level. And again, as what I said before, it's all bespoke. It's all depends on what is important to you at the time, and what your issues are, what your challenges are, and it's having just somebody to sort of bounce ideas off of, and hopefully you can move to the next level. So thanks for everybody for listening. If you want to book a call with me, email me. My details are coming up on the next slide. My email address is there, my phone number's there. So just give us a buzz, and then we can then set something up. And the idea would be that you come in for a complimentary review. So we can come in for an hour, we can sit and chat, won't cost you anything. We've got a base in London, which is where I am today, near Moorgate, and also Bank. We can sit, have a chat for an hour just to see if it's something that you want to follow up. You can come to our office in South Woodford. We make disgusting coffee, but that's besides the point. But just contact me, and hopefully see you guys at the seminar in mid-November, where we will go into a lot more detail, maybe get a better feel for how we can actually help your business grow. I'll be signing off and hopefully speak to you soon. Thank you.